Wyatt Six have debuted in the WWE. First of all, this is the best debut we've had of a faction since the NWO. The NWO, you can't top that, okay? Hulk Hogan looking at the fans. You know, all these fans can stick it.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, all this trash in the ring represents these fans. Timeless. You're never going to beat that. But when was the last time you seen a debut that was just this good? I looked on the internet, and there's people criticizing this debut.
Of course they are, because there are just miserable people out there.
Yes. Somebody even said it was disrespectful.
Yeah, fuck off.
Okay. All you negative people, don't ruin this for me. You hear me? Don't ruin this for me. I don't need your negativity to bleed into the writers' minds or Bo Dallas's mind or anybody that's in this faction. I don't need your negativity to cause any kind of self-doubt for anybody that's involved in this. It's not disrespectful of Bray Wyatt's death or anything about Bray Wyatt. How could you even come up with a thing like that? Shame on you. This is one of the best things I've seen happen in a very long time. And as it got closer to the end, I started counting the minutes and I started getting worried. I said, how are they going to do a debut of a whole faction in just a few minutes? But not only did they do a debut of a faction in just a few minutes, they've done one of the best debuts of a faction I've seen in my whole life watching professional wrestling since the very early 90s. I got emotional, okay? And I watched replays of this and water started filling my eyes, okay? And people that just dismissed this from the get-go, that weren't paying attention to the Easter eggs that were in these just few minutes of wrestling television. Greatness. Did you notice Ramblin' Rabbit with the hammer?
Yeah.
That was a nod to Luke Harper.
What was the deal with the hammer?
Well, you know, first of all, he was in the Wyatt family.
Right.
After Eric Rowan and Luke Harper left the Wyatt family and the Wyatt family kind of dissolved, they formed their own tag team called the Bludgeon Brothers. Wasn't the greatest gimmick in the world. They came out with giant hammers and they're big guys.
Right.
That was basically the gimmick. But the hammer was a nod to that gimmick. So they're honoring Brody Lee. And did you see it? I mean, how could you not have seen this and not thought this was great? Now, I will admit, supernatural gimmicks in wrestling tend to do poorly. You know, thinking of Papa Shango. But that was also just terrible. But this has been genius so far. Also, on top of that, every single one of these people that are in this faction are terribly underrated. I've enjoyed Nikki Cross from the beginning. Well, except for the almost superhero garbage. That was bad. Dexter Lumis. He finally has a gimmick now that he can work with. Joe Gacy, he's never done anything terrible that I can tell. The only thing I saw that I didn't like that Joe Gacy did was whenever two members of the Schism got let go and he shut down Schism. Then you got Eric Rowan coming back. He's the last one from the Wyatt family, the core members that's still around. And nothing's been done with him since Brody Lee's death or Bray Wyatt. And then you got Bo Dallas. Now, here's the thing. You're going to have some realistic expectations here. Is Bo Dallas Bray Wyatt? No. And I don't think that you can expect him to fill those shoes. Bo Dallas on the mic, unless he's improved a lot, he's not his brother. He's mostly played like comedic roles in WWE and things like that. So this is new, but at the same time, he's doing extremely well so far. Now, the thing that I do wonder is how is he going to do when he gets hold of a microphone? We haven't really heard much from Uncle Howdy. Maybe he should talk to a limited extent. I think the faction is going to have good motives for what they're doing. It can't just be murdering everybody. Although, I mean, at the same time, I probably would tolerate that. It was so good so far, but it's brought a degree of horror to the WWE, and that is something that we're sorely lacking. And the whole thing, the whole debut, did you pay attention to the noises and the music? It was all excellent. It was all top notch. The costumes, everything was perfect. And then Uncle Howdy at the end with his hands out like some sort of scarecrow or something. He looked like a dadgum Batman villain. And this is his minions. This is a new Batman villain we've got, and we ain't got no Batman to stop him. So keep your negativity to yourself. I don't want to hear it. You cannot tell me that the Wyatt Six is not awesome. You can't tell me that. Jim Cornette can't tell me that. Anybody else that wants to comment on him? If Tony Khan wants to go off about WWE drones filling his head with Wyatt Six propaganda, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want none of the negativity. It needs to stay out of the air, okay? It needs to stay within yourself. Not out in the air, not out in the open. Keep it within yourself. Because I don't want to hear it. Because, like I said, I got emotional. And wrestling rarely ever does that to me. But when it does, it makes a big impact on me. And, I still miss Bray Wyatt to this day. And nothing's going to replace Bray Wyatt. And we got to have some expectations that are reasonable with this. That this isn't going to bring back Bray Wyatt. But it can honor his legacy. And that's if you keep your negativity to yourself. And shut up if you're a critic. If you love this, I'm not speaking to you. You're with me. The line has been drawn, okay? And if you love this like I did, you're with me. And you have good taste. And you know what's good in wrestling. And wrestling's a lot more than just flips and guys beating up blow-up dolls and little kids in Japan. You know that wrestling is sports entertainment, and this is the entertainment part. This is story. This is a good story already. I can't wait to watch Monday. When was the last time that wrestling made me feel like time was moving slowly? I can't think of it. Time is moving slowly. It's Saturday as of the time of this recording, and I'm impatient because I want to see if they come back Monday. I want to see what kind of carnage they're going to do. Is something else going to happen? That's what this is doing. I think the ratings are going to go up if they keep writing this well. Have reasonable expectations and just allow yourself to enjoy this, okay? Right. It's good so far. Is it going to be Bray Wyatt quality good? Nothing ever will be. I mean, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt took his creative genius to the grave with him. Unfortunately, I don't think he was even allowed to fully express it when he was alive. For example, the Fiend. Okay, first of all, Bo Dallas has already done a great job portraying the Uncle Howdy gimmick anyways, so that's promising, even though it's a kind of gimmick he's never had. So give Bo Dallas a chance, number one. Let the guy do something. Right now, he's been given something. He's been given an opportunity. He has the biggest opportunity he's ever had in his whole career right now. So have an open mind. Number two, Dexter Lumis. Another guy that hasn't really been given a chance, but his gimmick before this was kind of creepy. So this is right up his alley. Then you got Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy reminds me a lot of Bray Wyatt, and that's why he's Huskus the Pig. Huskus the Pig was what represented Bray Wyatt when he was younger in his career and struggled with his weight. But Joe Gacy could do a promo if he needed to be. He could be the mouthpiece for this group, and it would work because Joe Gacy can do it. Joe Gacy reminds me a lot of Bray Wyatt, young Bray Wyatt. Eric Rowan, you can't argue with him deserving to be here. And I think if they didn't hire him back to include him on this, it wouldn't have been as good. It wouldn't have worked as well. It wouldn't really be the Wyatt Six without Eric Rowan. And then finally, you got Nikki Cross, okay? If you want to know more about Nikki Cross, you got to look at her NXT run. They let her do things that they haven't let her do on the main programming. And it's kind of like Mick Foley said, if you're going to have a crazy gimmick, you got to do crazy stuff. And she did it at NXT, but on the main brand, no, she wasn't allowed to. So she just went out there and just acted crazy and nobody bought it. But did you see that crap?
I saw that crap.
I mean, that was freaky with the dress and the mask, the horror mask. I mean, it was, horrific. It was good. So keep your negativity to yourself if you got it. I don't want to hear it. Don't ruin this. I don't need it out in the air. Okay. If there's anything wrong with it, I'll let you know. Right now, everything's good. I want to see more of it. I want to see it now. I want to see what happens.